All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible tech that pretty much powers our entire world. And we're going to explore why upgrading it is one of the biggest and most urgent challenges that businesses are facing right now. So let me ask you a question. What do your bank, your local hospital, and your favorite airline all have in common? I know, they seem totally different, right? But the answer is actually hidden deep inside their digital DNA. Turns out they all depend on technology that is often surprisingly old to run the services you rely on every single day. And this reliance on aging tech, well, it leads us straight to our first big idea here, what you could call a ticking tech time bomb. Now, this isn't just some quirky trivia. It's a massive, hidden risk that's lurking just beneath the surface of the services we all use. You see, many of these essential organizations are running on what we call legacy systems. The best way to think about it is like the plumbing and wiring in a beautiful old house. Yeah, it works, for now, but it's fragile, it's incredibly expensive to maintain, and it just wasn't built to handle the demands of our modern, always-on world. And the difference here is, well, it's night and day. On one hand, you have legacy systems. They're often riddled with security holes, they cost an absolute fortune just to keep the lights on, and they're so rigid and slow, they're constantly at risk of failing. Now, compare that to modern systems. They're built from the ground up to be resilient, cost-effective, super flexible, and incredibly reliable. The gap between these two is just huge. Okay, so if these old systems are such a giant headache, what's the fix? Well, this brings us to the whole point of our chat today, system modernization. So let's break down what that actually means. At its core, legacy system modernization is a strategic upgrade of all that outdated software and hardware. But let me be really clear here. This isn't about slapping on a few software patches and calling it a day. The real goal is a complete overhaul, designed to radically improve security, scalability, and performance for the long run. You know, I love this analogy. We're not talking about a simple oil change here. Modernization is like taking a gorgeous classic car and doing a complete engine swap. You're putting in a brand new, high-performance engine. You get to keep that cool classic style, but you completely transform what it can do, making it faster, safer, and way more reliable for today's world. Now, a full-on engine swap. That sounds incredibly complicated, doesn't it? And well, it is. But thankfully, this is an uncharted territory. There's a structured plan for this whole process. So let's take a look at the modernization blueprint to see how it all works. This journey usually happens in 3 proven stages. First up is assess and plan. You can't build for the future if you don't understand the past, right? So this is all about digging in, evaluating the old systems, and designing a solid blueprint. Then comes the heavy lifting, modernize and migrate. This is where the actual work happens, upgrading code, apps, software, and moving everything over to a new, modern platform. And finally, transform and support. The new system goes live, but the job's not done. This last phase is all about ongoing optimization to make sure everything keeps running perfectly. Okay, so we've got the what and the how, but the biggest question of all is why? Why would any company go through all this trouble? Let's get into the real-world reasons why modernization matters so much. First and foremost, it slashes operational risk. By getting rid of those fragile, old systems, companies can avoid those catastrophic failures and super expensive outages that can literally bring a business to a grinding halt. Next up is something called scalability. Basically, modern systems are built to grow. So as a business gets bigger and as customer demands increase, the technology can handle all that extra load without even breaking a sweat. It's all about being ready for whatever comes next. And then there's the big one, security. Modernizing is absolutely critical for protecting data. In a world where it feels like there's a new cyber threat every day, this isn't just a nice little perk. It's an absolute necessity. And finally, it fuels faster innovation. When you're not constantly held back by clunky old code, you can build and release new features and cool improvements way faster. It lets companies actually stay competitive and give their customers what they want. So look, this isn't just some abstract business concept that happens in a boardroom somewhere. It has a very real, direct impact on our daily lives. So let's bring it home and look at modernization in your world. And you can see this stuff everywhere. In banking, it's the difference between some clunky ancient website and that slick, secure mobile app you use to check your balance. In healthcare, it's what makes sure your patient data is safe and that doctors can easily share critical info. And in retail, It's the magic behind being able to buy something online and just swing by the store to pick it up an hour later. At the end of the day, it really all comes down to this one key insight. Modernization isn't just a tech project. It's the engine that drives long-term digital transformation and sustainable business growth. It's about building a foundation that's actually strong enough to support a company's biggest dreams for years and years to come. And so, I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you use an ATM, or visit your doctor, or buy something online, just take a second to think about the invisible technology that's making it all possible. What hidden legacy systems are powering your daily life? And are they ready for the future?